Well, good evening. Welcome to Prepping for Prosperity. How are you all tonight? What should you do with your money? That's what I want to talk about tonight. I've been gone for a little bit. I missed you. Those of you who are on the Patreon channel, I hope you've been keeping up and keeping track and reading the articles that I've been putting up over there. It's important to keep up on what's going on in the world. The financial markets are very volatile. They're doing things that people have not seen in this manner. I was going to say for years, but pretty much forever. It's a time to be careful, a time to be cautious, not to be making big moves, and a time to be patient. And that's kind of what I want to talk about tonight. If you have money, hopefully you have money. If you don't worry. Listen to what I have to say, and someday when you have a good amount of money, this will apply to that. I talked to a guy yesterday who's apparently coming into a pretty sizable amount of money. It was unexpected, kind of a windfall, an unexpected inheritance. I didn't ask him specific numbers, but I get the feeling, well, let's just say anywhere between $100,000 and $300,000. Okay, the exact amount doesn't matter, but somewhere in there. And they asked me what I would suggest they do with the money, and their specific question was, what did I think about gold and silver? Well, if you've been with me before, you know pretty much what I answered to that, and I said absolutely not. They were confused about that because they've heard everybody talk about, gold and silver. First, it's a great investment. Secondly, it's a great hedge against inflation. If you've heard me talk about that before, you know that neither one of those are true, but they are the common information that's shoveled out there at people right and left until pretty much that's the only information that people hear. When somebody wants to separate you from your money, that's called sales, and they're going to paint as pretty a picture of their product as they possibly can, and nobody is better at that than gold salesmen. You can't believe how many companies are out there that sell gold. You've probably seen them, right? Ask yourself this: if something is that good, does it really have to be sold hard? And the answer, of course, is no. That should be your first warning flag. Okay. Secondly, you've probably seen these ads. I see them all over the place. $10,000 in free silver. Now, why would anybody give you $10,000 in free silver? These are the kind of things, they're the emotional tugs, they're the emotional hooks that try to get you in there, and you're thinking, wow, this is great. And then, of course, you have the emotional things like the ads of William Devane saying, I'm as a patriot, as an American, I'm going to do two things. The first, I'm going to fly the flag, and second, I'm going to buy gold. And the only people I trust are, and then he gives the name of some company. Have you ever noticed that everybody out there seems to be pitching gold, and there's only one company that they trust, and they're all different companies? These people are a part of something I don't think they realize they're a part of. It's kind of like that thing, and did you all see that Dave Ramsey's getting sued for $150 million over something that he was involved in? I'm going to address that on a separate video, but it is, when these people make their money from promoting something, they're not trying to inform you. They're not trying to help you. They are saying things to get money, to make money for them. I know that a lot of them seem trustworthy. You think you know them, you trust them because you've seen them on TV shows or their news shows. You have to get away from that emotional tug, that emotional gravity that pulls you into their gravitational sphere and makes you believe what they're saying. First off, so let me tell you about here for just a second. Gold, if it's a great investment, in 2012 it was right around $1,900 an ounce. Today, it's a little over $1,900 an ounce. In what is that, from 12 to 23? In 11 years, it's gone up $60. That is not a good investment. Then there will be those who say, well, it's a good hedge against inflation. No, it's not. It's not near as good in either of those areas as the S&P 500 or real estate. Doesn't even approach it. The reason that gold maintains its value is not because it's quote, quote, been money forever. It hasn't, okay? Nor is it because it's not fiat money, okay? This is another hook that you're going to hear them and say, well, it's a good hedge because fiat money will collapse. And if you don't know what fiat money is, and half the people who use that term don't know what it is, it's simply a money that's not backed by anything. And this term started to be thrown around when we went off the gold standard. And so they say, well, now it's fiat money, meaning it's not backed by anything. It's not backed by gold like it used to be. The problem is, what the people don't understand is, all money in the world, for the most part now, is fiat money. Now, the BRICS countries are talking about coming out with a new currency that's going to be gold-based. That doesn't make any difference. It makes absolutely no difference. It has to do with purchasing power, and right now, every so-called fiat currency in the world has purchasing power. And you will find those, yeah, but the purchasing power is going down all the time. Well, you know, you need to address that in a different way, and maybe I'll get to that in another one. If I have time here, that's fine. Understand this. Gold itself has no intrinsic value. Now, when I say that, people are just going to lose their minds, okay? And I could make a case that gold itself is a fiat currency. How could I do that? Because what is it supported by? Okay? What is the value of gold, or the price of gold, which is two different things? What is it supported by? It's supported by nothing more than people wanting it. It's a commodity. Okay? You can't eat it. It's not even a commodity like sugar or soybean oil or anything like that. It's a commodity, traded as a commodity worldwide, that serves no purpose beyond, you know, electronics and dentistry and a few things, and jewelry and those things. But its value comes from people's desire to have it, and its rarity. Okay, and its rarity is kind of a dirty little game that's played behind the scenes that most people know nothing about. So I could say that gold is also a fiat currency because it's not backed by anything except what people are willing to pay for it. Okay? And that's the same with a dollar or anything. It's only worth what somebody is willing to give you something for it. That's it. You have to understand what money really is, or currency really is. And you have to get outside that box that's been drawn around you all of your life. Now, if gold is not the place to put it, and neither is silver, precious metals is you know, you're going to do much better either in an investment strategy or a hedge strategy to simply go real estate or the S&P. You can't beat the S&P 500. Here's the thing, though. Both of those are high, and you never do yourself a favor by buying high. Just like they're saying now, one of the things that they're trying to use to sell gold is that gold is almost at its peak. What do you know what that means? That means that it's been higher. That's right. It's been higher than it is now. But all signs, they will tell you, all signs indicate that it could be going above its historical high. What does that mean? That's nothing but a bunch of mealy-mouthed trash talk that's saying maybe it'll get up to where it has been before, meaning that people that bought it up at that level before now have lost money. Does that make sense? You understand what I'm saying, right? But it's positioned. It could go really high, and so people buy into that. I want to go really high. I want to make money. Slow down, slow down, slow down. gold's not the place for it. There's nothing to guarantee that it's going to go up any higher. Now, it could go up higher, okay, but the amount of money it would take to buy enough gold to make it worth your while in order to make actual money on it, it's a lot, okay? It's a bunch. Gold just does not move that quickly, okay? And it has gone down very quickly several times. Ask the people who bought it in 2012. So when you're thinking about what to do with your money now, there's really nothing to do with your money except save it in something that will give you a small return. There's nothing out there that's going to give you a big return now. Stock market's high. It's due for a correction. Whether it's going to be a real collapse or a simple correction of 20% or so, who knows? But it's going to correct. It's simply going to correct for the same reason that the real estate market is. And these corrections are going more slowly than people thought, so people are not believing that the crash of the correction is actually coming, but it is. All indicators point that way. You have to be patient, and you have to wait until it comes down. Real estate is going to come down. The commercial real estate market right now is just taking a bloodbath. We're running into several things that are going on. The student loan forbearance has come to an end. The forbearance for mortgage payments and the forbearance for rent payments came to an end some time back. A lot of those people have been able to stay in their houses or their apartments, but now they're being thrown out. The reason, and just as the same with the student loan payments, is that these people, when they stopped paying these payments, they simply brought that in and lived to the level feeling that that was their new level of income. They didn't save it. They weren't ready to go. They weren't ready to, okay, when they stopped the forbearance, I'm saving all this money so I can pay it up. They didn't. And so now they are in a big, deep hole. And you're going to see a lot of people starting to lose their houses and their places to live. We're already seeing people moving, like combining apartments. They're losing apartments, they're moving in with friends. And that's why we're not seeing it on the surface yet so much. But too many people are underemployed. They've gone through their savings. They've gone through all that magic money that they got, the stimulus money. They didn't save. And now the chickens are coming home to roost, and we're going to have... It's going to be slap in the face time here pretty soon for a lot of people. That's going to bring these markets down to a place that's going to be advantageous for you to have the money to then buy, whether you're buying real estate, stocks, whatever. Where do you put it? Well, there are a lot of different opinions of where you could put it. I would simply suggest you put it in a money market. That'll bring you 4.5%, somewhere in there. You can find them, do your own research. And it's readily available. You don't want to stick it somewhere that's hard to get out. I wouldn't suggest you sticking it in CDs, and I wouldn't suggest you start putting it in IRAs. Now, some people will say if somebody had $300,000 coming in, well, pay off your house. That can be good, and that can not be good. And that's a little too complicated to throw into this right now. There are reasons not to pay off your house. And this gets back to Mr. Ramsey, who, if you knew some of the truth out there, I think that the Ramsey cult wouldn't be as big as it is. But I'll get to that in another one also. Park it someplace safe and do the hardest thing there is with money, and that is to be patient. Money is like hunting. Investing is like hunting. If a deer hunter, he sits up in his tree, he doesn't get anxious and just start shooting at anything that moves because he's got this bullet burning a hole in his pocket, right? No, he waits for the deer to come by and takes his shot. That's the problem with too many people, especially with found money that wasn't earned, okay? It's burning a hole in their pocket. They're thinking about all sorts of things they're going to do, And this is why they lose. This is why so many lotto winners are broke within 2 or 3 years, because now they're buying the things that they wanted instead of being smart, being patient, waiting for the right time so that that money can work for them long term and actually make more money. Okay? Right now, I don't suggest anything. Well, I would suggest a couple of things. As I did with him, I said the first thing that I would do, if I would buy 2 years worth of food. Period. 2 years worth of food. More if you want to, but at least 2 years worth of food. Inflation on food is going to continue to rise, and if you follow me on integrative preparedness, what's going on in the world with all the challenges to the food system and the food delivery system. So I would bring in 2 to 5 to 7. I suggest 7 years of food. Anywhere in there that you're comfortable with, buy food. That's going to be one of the best investments you're ever going to make, and now you've given yourself some real safety and security. The next thing that I always suggest is guns. Guns almost always go up in price. Now, they don't go up in price if you were one of those who bought one when the sales, when prices just skyrocketed. And people said, oh my gosh, these guns are 2, 3 times as much as they were 3 months ago. I'd better get one. That's fear buying, and fear buyers go broke. Okay, I didn't buy ammo or any guns for years while that was going on. First off, I had enough because I had prepared. Then when those prices came back down, I found a lot of good sales. And when I find guns on sale, anytime I find a gun that I can buy for a price that I know I can resell it the next day for a $150 profit, I buy it. Now, I don't sell it, but it's an investment. It's a long term, because 5 years from now, 10 years from now, it's going to be worth a lot more. And anytime during those years, if I want to sell them, I can. I've never lost money on guns, and you're not going to lose money on food. So anyway, that's my advice. What I'm going to do for the people, and I would suggest, and maybe I said this too late, there's probably already some people out there already hammering on their keyboards about how I'm all wrong about gold. I'm not wrong about gold. If I see those comments, I'm going to delete them, because you're trying to mislead my subscribers. And I don't allow that, because if you think that gold is a good investment or a good hedge, you don't know what you're talking about, and you should be quiet. And I won't allow you to mislead people on here. Go talk somewhere else. But I will put the link to a very good article from Forbes, I believe. I had put it up some time back. I'll put it up again, explaining exactly the situation with gold as relates to investment and hedging. So that's over on Patreon. If you're with us over there, you'll be able to read that. That's it. For right now, you have to be patient. Things are too volatile to take chances on anything. Watch, keep that money safe, make a few percent of it, but keep it safe, and don't go out and go crazy and go spend it and go buy a bunch of stuff. And don't hurry. Don't say, I've got this, I've got to get in the market, I've got to get in this, I've got to get in gold, I've got to get in real estate. No, you don't. No, you don't. Let that money stay over there and make you a few percent every year. It'll make you a few $1,000s between now and when it's going to be the right time. Okay? All right. Good to be back. Good to see you all again. Remember that your prosperity is in your own hands. And in everything that you talk about, make sure that you understand it. Don't take anybody's word, especially a salesman's, a salesperson's. If they're trying to sell you something, they're not necessarily telling you the truth. Don't even take my advice and do what I say just because I say it. Take what I've told you and research it. Understand it for yourself so that it's you who are making your decision. This is one of the problems that I'm going to talk about Ramsey. It's a terrible situation. But don't ever invest in anything you don't fully understand. That's a recipe for disaster. I want you all to be prosperous. I want you all to be successful. So you all have a good night. Be patient, watch, wait for the right shot, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.